Well, we're on day 4, and I'm excited to see you here at Finding Peace in Times of Great Change. Isn't it great to be with others who are probably moving through some of the same things you are? For me, it's so wonderful to be able to connect. We have some amazing upcoming people post November 5th. We have, and I've been talking to them today on behalf of building a bridge to you. And I'm just really excited for Dr. Aditi to come and talk about mourning the world as it's been for you so that we can actually have a clear slate to create. And Greg Lathrop, who is an elder at the CCLD community, just doing some work around forgiveness. We have a new person who got introduced by one of the other badasses that are coming your way, who is a brain scientist who's going to do some really incredible exercises to just like snap you right into your center. There's more. It's exciting. It's groovy. Feeling blessed. Happy to be with you today. Today I'm wearing my Heaven on Earth Construction Crew t-shirt. Wait, let me show you. Heaven on Earth Construction Crew t-shirt. Look. There it is. So that's something that's part of a private community that we have, but today we are all part of the Heaven on Earth Construction Crew, you guys included. So write in where you're hailing from in the world. I know we've got everyone from over Ukraine way to, we've had people from the UK and Germany. We had a beautiful person drop in from Italy, and we've got lots of Australians and New Zealanders. Just happy and welcoming everyone from the global community here. Excited to have you all. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you followed us and liked us, and definitely comment. It helps us actually attract more people who want to play in the Heaven on Earth Construction Crew. So Elizabeth from Wales, gosh, it's nice to see you. And we've got Pierrette in Canada. So great. What's your word, you guys? What's your word for the day? Today is all about being able to drop into a sense of peace at will. Okay? It's about the ability to drop into a sense of peace at will. 0 to 10 right now. I'd love you to feel into where you're at. Where you're at. With respect to being in your presence and at peace with what is. 0 to 10. 10 is fully at peace. Where are you at? My contemplative, peaceful, in the moment friends. What number would you give it, I wonder? Yeah. And then let's ask the question, what do you think it would take to actually get yourself to an 11? What does that look like to be in an overflow? Literally like you have room left. Like things could happen and almost nothing could take you out because you have an overflow of a sense of peace. Like room to breathe. Like lots of organ cushion. That's what today is all about. I want to tell you a little story. I think it would help. Now, some of you can think of some things to do that actually give you peace in the moment, which absolutely we're going to talk about today, a couple of processes. But imagine that your permanent state now? So I'm asking you a different question. One is a reaction to where you're at in any moment. What does it take to get you into that, drop you into that state? But what would it be if you had a permanent cellular irreversible shift to being 13 or 14, such that you had organ cushion left over, such that things could happen and nothing took you out? Imagine that state of embodiment. Irreversible, meaning cellular and permanent. It's just the way you are. You know, those people, well, you could tell some people, for instance, if you're an Olympic athlete and you're a sprinter, you're probably really fast. And even when you're 60, you're probably still running pretty fast for your age because there's all this muscle memory. You've got this latent leftover speediness. I'm wondering what that looks like as an embodied sense of an overflow of peace. One of the things that I always say is that in order to not because I always say it, it must be true, but because it seems to be my experience, doesn't mean it's yours, but just consider that it's possible to embody an overflow of anything that's desired. And if it's possible to embody that, meaning make it your new default, meaning irreversible and cellular, and anyone can have that. What I know for sure in my experience is that the more evidence you can collect of being in that state of overflow where it didn't matter what happened around you, the more you acknowledge that, the more the body biochemically responds to your desire and helps to deliver that to you. So, overflow, amen. Ticket to bliss. I love that you love the word overflow. Would you guys be willing to open the doorway? Would you be willing to consider? Would you be willing to come with me on this journey of shifting to no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do that today. That embodied state is not going to happen today. But the first step of getting to an embodied state is opening to the idea that it's possible. So are you with me on actually letting yourself open to the idea that it's possible? Because as soon as you open to the idea that it's possible, you also move to the frequency of that possibility, especially if you get a little bit excited about it. And this is what we've been talking about so far, right? The first step of anything is the first step of any movement, any evolution, any next stepping, any becoming is that you have to be willing to believe that it's possible. If you don't believe that it's possible, then you aren't going to be receptive to the very activities and ideas and people that would have you have the experiences to get you there. It would just be a no. You wouldn't be interested. It's not possible. So why? All right. So from there, let's talk about peace. I want to give you a little story before we go on an adventure. I remember when my dog and my husband were stuck in Asheville, and the hurricane was coming, and we hadn't ever really we'd experienced storms before, but I was on the West Coast. And I had been phoning Adam all day, checking in, asking him. He's like, "Oh, yeah, we're okay. I'm from Florida. I'm tough, all this stuff." And then all of a sudden, I couldn't get him anymore. That didn't mean the power was out. That meant that the cell towers weren't working. That meant that service was out everywhere. My husband's being very silly right now. That is not what I said. The Wide Awakening with Jennifer Huff did not just make the comment as if I wanted to talk. That is Adam Lamb, not me. And so he's in the background producing. And so what ended up happening was as soon as I lost communication, there was a part of me that knew that had to I had no choice. I had to just surrender to it. Remember we talked yesterday about control, and I had to just let go. And then that night, I remember a part of myself wanting to, fix it or do something, or I felt powerless. And that sense of powerlessness gave me a lack of peace, like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I can do. And this speaks a little bit to what we're going to talk about tomorrow as well, carrying, which is worrying when worrying doesn't add anything to the situation, nor does it empower you. It literally takes you out of the frequency of the solutions to anything. But that's for tomorrow. Today, so I'm in California. I'm feeling uneasy. I'm feeling like the infrastructure that supports our lives in Asheville is floating away, and it is. I can see what's going on in Asheville because I can watch the news, but the people in Asheville have no idea what's happening to their neighbors and neighboring towns and people that they love. And so they're isolated, and there's no way to reach anybody by phone or by text or by email or in any way. So I'm offline with my dog, my two favorite boys, and it doesn't feel very peaceful inside. So I have to figure out a way to come back home. I have to figure out a way to be available to the solutions that we've been talking about. I had to figure out a way to have peace no matter what, so that my neutrality could drive the bus of my life and such that I could be in receptive mode. Adam either had it handled or not. Mighty Mouse, my dog, our dog, either had things under control or not. And so the first act I did as an act of peace is I gave everything back to the people that had the agency. It wasn't mine to do anything about. I wasn't in Asheville. I wasn't in my house. So instead of linking myself to all this stuff that's going on somewhere else, that really in the current moment, I had no agency over, the first thing to do is give it back to those people. I was trying to be empowered about something that was not mine to be empowered about. So My question to you is, and I'd love to hear in the comments or in the chat, is there anything right now that you're having agency over, that you want agency over, that you want control over, that you want to be able to assist, that you want, and you're welcome, Adam, is is there anything that you need to give the power, control, empowerment, energy back to someone else about that thing? Because it's not yours to dance with. I'd love to hear from you. So the first step to peace was to give the energy back to those that it belonged to. Who and why? Yeah, it works for injuries in your body. Your body already knows how to heal. There might be something that's yours to do, but as long as you're trying to be in control, what's yours to do will not be available to you because you're carrying something that's not yours to do. So the first question to ask is this mine to carry? Okay, step number one. So the next thing I did is once I gave it back, I stopped carrying the weight or the worry of Adam and Mighty Mouse. I then came to a place where I realized that I wasn't in my body. You know how the first exercise we've done in the first 4 days has been to bring our consciousness behind our eyes. So let's everybody do step two. Thank you, everyone who's sharing right now. Let's do step two. Step two is bring your awareness behind your eyes. Bring the you that's observing the outside world, that's seeing all the things around you and wondering how you can impact. Bring that behind your eyes. Some of you are actually subconsciously carrying the weight of wars and elections and polarity in the world, possibly divisiveness in your families, all that kind of stuff. Is it yours to carry? Ask the question. That's the first step. Is it mine to carry? The second step is now, once you realize that it's not yours, bring your consciousness, bring your awareness behind your eyes so that you're in your body with your cells. Now, let me tell you about step two. In step two, you have, so remember, you're going to do this much more quickly than I'm doing it. I'm giving you the context for the exercise, though, right? Yeah. So step one is this mine? Step two is bringing your consciousness, your awareness behind your eyes. What that means in English without any kind of, out there spiritual language, what it means is the part of you that has your awareness of everything around you to try to keep you safe and in control, take that awareness and bring it back behind your eyes in your body. In your body. Yeah. And as you do that, let it now trickle into your body like sunlight-stricken drops that are literally pouring into every area, every vessel, every vehicle. I hear you, you guys, carrying the awakening of humanity. I hear it. Been there and got that t-shirt at some point, right? So now we've got our awareness in our body. Now let me tell you about your body as I said I would. You have 75 trillion, between 30 trillion and 75 trillion cells, depending on which biologist you talk to. And those cells they all have receptor sites. They actually receive and send information from within the body. In fact, scientists have measured that even your telomeres are sending and receiving information. It all helps each of the cells to talk to each other so you don't have to have your attention on being taken care of. But imagine right now that there are hundreds of millions of tasks happening without you. And those hundreds of millions of tasks, oxygen exchange, food exchange, eyesight, swallowing your spit, letting your hair grow, all of this stuff is being taken care of without your consciousness being involved because your cells are your best friend. But most people don't consider that one of the ways that your cells are your best friend is that they contain and have basically receptor sites that send and receive different kinds of non three-dimensional. Am I going to call it non three-dimensional? Let's call it metaphysical information. Photon packages of light, synchrotron radiation from the sun. There are all pheromones are going back and forth. All sorts of communications are happening that transcend what we see in 3D. And part of those communication include information about what it is that might assist you or what it is that might serve in these times. And I realized as I was having my consciousness behind my eyes is that the greatest thing I could do is literally see my immediate family as whole and complete and capable and having all the tools and being in their brilliance and just knowing who they are. All I needed to do is know who they were, not in a condescending, leadery kind of way, but just in a remembering, oh, yes, I know who they are. They're resilient smarty pantses. So all of a sudden, I got to remember that. That was what I needed to hear. But it was not someone needed to talk in my ear three-dimensionally. It was just from taking my consciousness behind my eyes. And as soon as I heard that, I just knew, yes, I saw them as sovereign beings with choice, as Adam and my friend would say. Yeah. So then, what was there to do? What there was to do is to actually take care of myself. So the third step is, once your consciousness or your awareness is behind your eyes, the question to ask, so this is number 3, to ask is, what do I need to do to let my high vibes be the driver of the bus right now? That's leadership. What do I need to do? What do I need to do now that I know that they've got this? Just like I'm having it for myself. Because you see, now I'm saying, I've got this for me. What do I need to do to get in the driver's seat of my vibe bus? And the answer to that was I went and I started going for walks every day with my friend whose house I was staying in, who's a dear friend. Then I actually found something called an EE system, an energy enhancement system in LA, and I went there. And it was instantaneous. So much more of my awareness came to me while I was in meditation in that energy enhancement system. By the way, the owner of one of my favorite EE systems in the whole world is going to be here doing acupressure points with you coming up. You're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. She is a badass smarty pants. So, and she's the one that introduced me to it. And I found one out there. And instantaneously, my nervous system, everything I was carrying about my husband and my dog, but my beautiful community and all of that kind of stuff. Just got, and not only that, I started to get ideas about my business because I was in the way because I was carrying everyone and everything. So today I give you these 3 steps. Is this even mine to carry? Is this mine? Do I have ownership over this? Do I have agency over this to affect change? Should it even be me if I do? That's the first awareness you come into. The second, after you say no, is bringing your awareness behind your eyes, bringing yourself back into your body, realizing that whomever it is has got this, or they don't, but you know they have the capacity to have it. And the third is to make yourself available to what would actually have you be the vibe driver of your bus. How can I be a steward of my vibration? And let that drive the bus rather than something that's going on halfway around the country that's pulling me out, that has not. I'm ineffective. You're ineffective. We're all ineffective when we're in that space. It doesn't work. You're not in the space of receiving solutions that are transcendent of the problem. Talking about the problem, endlessly complaining about something, bringing up the history of how it's been, does not ever help with solutions. Ever. The solutions are in a spiral in the future. And your journey is to go on the adventure of being curious about what wants to land inside of you, even if it's about the next 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be about the rest of your life. That's one of the pitfalls in not staying at peace. You try to carry the next 5 years, or you try to carry everything that's wrong in the whole world. Remember, I read this beautiful article that I'll write something about. I'm going to end today with this thought. By the way, everyone can come at 5:55 every day. We're here to grow bigger than the circumstances in the world, but I'm going to give you guys this before the weekend, especially before a significant day, November 5th, here in the United States. And that is this, that egos make choices. Egos make choices. So fear makes choices based on rationality. If this, then that, weigh the pros and cons. That's how egos and personalities make choices. If you make the choice that isn't the highest, it'll only be by chance because you're not in you. However, a soul actually does not make choices. A soul actually receives information and discerns the most expansive path. End of story. A soul, a beingness, your spirit, your essence, the greater self, your expanded self, allows itself to be in a place of soulful, present discernment. And discernment never comes from fear. It isn't justified by fear. It isn't justified by the anxiety of projecting future outcomes. It simply just knows. And from that place, what we do is based in groundedness, no matter what our choice is. And I'm going to leave you with that today. And yes, of course, we do this on the weekend. Of course, we're going to be here Saturday and Sunday. So you can find the information on linkedin.com/Jennifer Huff or facebook.com/Wide Awakening. And you'll also see the recordings in YouTube, our YouTube channel at the Wide Awakening. So make sure you like and follow us. I love you guys. I hope that's helpful information. This place of peace, this place of being behind your eyes, literally being curious about how to become bigger than your circumstances and doing the steps is going to allow you to get in your body if you happen to be in the United States for the significant days to come. All right, you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Can't wait to introduce you to my badass friends who are just amazing. Please pay this forward. Invite some friends. Get them to come to the YouTube page of 555. And thank you for all the love. And I'm amplifying it, and I'm like just throwing it right back at you. So big love. Okay, you guys, have the best rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Share this with a friend. Let them know that they're not alone, and let them know that we together are actually growing bigger than everything that's happening in the world. And we get to catch up to the future rather than wallowing in whatever is going on, or we don't get to be pulled by that. There's a place to come. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Big hugs.